With over 30 years of experience in wealth planning and a lifetime of involvement in harness racing, Matt Franklin at Wire to Wire Wealth can help you build a financial plan that addresses the unique circumstances of those involved in the horse racing industry. Whether you are investing to build wealth, protect your family, or preserve your assets, Matt at Wire to Wire Wealth will work with you through the wealth planning process from start to finish.
The world's greatest standard-bred yearling sale, by every measure, is Lexington Selected. It's the sale that shattered 16 industry records last year, and one that actually produces racehorses that dominate the sports championship events. Make plans now to join us this fall, and let the Lexington experience lead to your racing success.
Once again here, catching up with Brian Brown. Brian, you have had successful horses year in and year out. We had a great time sitting and talking to Jennifer, who is a big part of the stable. And she told us something interesting, that I don't know many trainers that do this. You are the first person to put the harness on any of your babies from any sale. You do it yourself.
Well, I don't do them all, but I do try to do a bunch of them. For the simple fact, I don't want my guys getting hurt. I tell them if they get hurt, I got to do your job. If I get hurt, I get to sit and watch you do your job.
You also, another thing that I noticed going through your list, you gave us horses from several different consignments. You don't just have one or two. You're purchasing from everybody under the sun.
Yeah, I mean, we want good horses. It don't matter who's selling them. And the main thing about a yearling sale, if there's a good one, you don't hide them. Everybody finds them. So, yeah, we don't go to just one place. We just go where we like the horse.
Are you looking at x-rays and scopes, or do you go to those things that are provided?
If they're provided, yes. We don't usually pre-exam a horse before we buy it as a yearling, but we do, within a month or so after we bought it, we x-ray, fluoroscope, whatever, looking for OCDs. But we haven't gave the huge numbers that, some people do, that you would feel more comfortable x-raying beforehand.
So after they get back to your farm, you're putting the equipment on it, you're showing them the racetrack right after. Jen said you don't believe in line driving as much as just hooking them to the cart and going.
We line drive from the barn to the track, and I go just down the track a ways in whatever direction I want to go, so that the horse knows they've already been that way, and when we put the cart on, they know what to do. But no, we don't line drive much anymore. We put the cart on. I got a braking cart, two guys on the side, and away we go. Now that doesn't mean if I took one out there and he's wild that we're putting him in the cart right away. He may have to line drive for a while. But in this day and age, especially if they've been on an equicizer, as much as the farms handle them anymore, we don't have a lot of trouble. We have a few. We had one this year that was a little tough. It wasn't actually breaking them, it was putting the hobbles on. But no, we don't line drive a lot anymore.
So they're taught that, they're out on the track, you then have the vet come in, you're checking for OCDs, chips, things like that. Then they go immediately to the clinic to get those taken care of, correct? And then have their 30 days?
Usually, yes. The sooner you get operated on, the better. That way, you're back to work.
I got it. Let's start talking about Special Menu, a 2-year-old pacing colt, Stay Hungry, $27,000 out of the Harrisburg sale. I personally saw this horse. He was a big, good-looking horse from Vauquerie.
Yeah, he's a really nice colt. He's actually been a surprise. I think he was only in the $30,000 range. The first dams had 2 decent ones, and out of 5, the other 3 didn't show racing. So that's why he didn't bring as much. Second dam was pretty good, but this is a nice, athletic, long-legged, good gaited, a little spooky on the track, especially around tractors, but very willing when you want to go.
Another one, Vanguard, another horse from VANGAURD, first crop, the only trotter in your stable out of the first crop of Green Shoe.
Yeah, years ago, all my trotting owners either passed away or just they quit buying. So we're known to have pacers. But I do have one. He's a Green Shoe, and he's a pretty nice colt at this speed. He's been under 25, but feels like you could go wherever you want to go.
Now, I noticed you've had him training in your pacing sets. You've also had him going with other people in their trotting sets. Which do you prefer?
Well, I'd much rather train him with the trotters, but it's just getting with other people. We started out with George Ducharme once, and then he had to change his schedule for owners coming. So we went ahead and put him back in with the pacers, but I need to get him back in with George's set. Right now, at that speed, he can go right with my pacers. Now, we're not racing, but we're still stepping home pretty good, which probably means I'm going too fast with him. So I'll try to get him back with George.
Hot Shave, a 2-year-old filly pacer, Ohio Lather Up, $51,000 from Cameo Hill Farms.
Well, when we saw this horse in Lexington, we loved her right away, and she's my type, big, strong horse. The boy that bought her, Kirk Nichols, he went and looked at her. He fell in love with her. Probably gave more than we expected to, but we both liked her enough we really wanted her. And so far, she's been great. She was a little tough at first, get excited, wanted to go, but now she's just turned into a nice horse. You can train her any way you want.
Behest, a 2-year-old filly pacer, Ohio, down by the seaside, a purchase price of $200,000 from Hunterton Farms.
Yes, this is the most expensive horse. Well, no, I had one last year was more, but this is the most expensive one I've bought for these owners. But we had, I had her mother, and she had terrible conformation. This filly's good conformation. Plus her mother is I believe, a full sister to ArtSpeak. And the owners, Joe Zabracco, John Federa, I think they owned in on ArtSpeak. So they really wanted this filly, and we paid more than we expected. But so far, she's been a really nice horse too.
So how does that go? When you're saying Zabracco, Fedora, I understand they're going to give what they have to give. Are you the one bidding on it, and do you know sky's the limit, or are you getting a little bit?
No, they were standing right close to me. And every time I'd bid, they told me to originally go to 100 and a quarter, then it was 150. And then once the bidding got going, every bid over 150, I look at them and they would tell me to keep going.
Let's talk about GEOCENTRIC, another 2-year-old filly pacer, Sweet Lou, out of Diamond Creek's consignment. This is the Grand Dam, see you at Peelers. You gave $55,000.
This one right now might be my nicest filly. She, if she's in a set with me or I'm in the same set but a different group, every time I look up, she's winning her training set. And again, we're not racing, but she's just so willing. You got to be careful you don't go too fast. That all you got to do is tap her or cluck to her and she'll be going more than you want to go. But so far, I'd say she is my best filly, but I've got several fillies that are doing okay.
Another filly that you have on your list, a down by the seaside, $110,000 purchase, Majestic Seas.
Well, she rates right up there with GEOCENTRIC. Very willing too. She got a little bit hot, so we had to put an open bridle on, which I think comes with the seasides. They can get a little too aggressive. But she's a sister to Hullabaloo that won the Adios. That's why we had to give so much. But right now, she's my top Ohio filly, and she would rate right up there with GEOCENTRIC as being one of my best fillies in the whole barn.
You have a 2-year-old colt pacer, Gray Goose, $25,000 at the Hoosier sale.
This horse, he was a gelding in the sale. I don't know, didn't even know it till we got him home. I don't know if that was why his price wasn't as much, but so far he's a pretty nice horse. He can go with any of my colts that I have, and he's my size too, big strong horse, good gaited, very willing. So right now we like that horse a lot. We even paid him into the Breeders' Crown this year.
Starter Call, a half-sister to Lost for Words. Your great horse, probably one of the greatest races of all times, was the Jug against Wiggle-It Jiggle-It. You now have this colt in your barn, a $22,000 purchase from Diamond Creek.
Yeah, now he's a colt, but he is a brother to Lost for Words. It's actually the only reason I looked at him. I hadn't even went to look at him in the barn, and we bought him from the back walking ring. He's twice the size Lost for Words was, a bigger, stronger horse. He once we bought him and went and looked at him, he stood out in the right foot a little bit. But as soon as we got him home, our guy shot him and just kind of leveled him up. He could stand out in a little bit yet, but on the track he goes good and straight. We did watch the video of the head-on shot before we bought him just to see, right, you know, if he carried straight, not even knowing he had a foot that stood out. But so far he's been very lazy, which Lost for Words was a little bit lazy training down. But once he got behind the gate a few times, he got a little aggressive. But that horse was $60,000 shy of $1 million. I hope this horse is half the horse he was.
So the discount price there with a little bit of confirmation issue that turns out hasn't shown itself to be a problem yet.
Not at all. And his name is Starter Call. He's named after Gabe Pruitt. That's what he says every time the horses go to the gate. And Gabe bought in with this on him.
Natural History is a 2-year-old colt pacer out of Sweet Lou from All American Harness Breds, a flashy $35,000 purchase at Harrisburg. You had a little bit of trouble with the horse, getting it gated with the hobbles. Tell me a little bit about the progression and how you did it yourself.
Well, he broke pretty good at home. He was a little tough, more with his mouth, just always fighting his mouth, throwing his head. Got him over that, got him down here, went to put his hobbles on, and he freaked out. He was crazy, running in circles. He almost got away from me. I lunged him all to first day I put the hobbles on, and I don't take anybody with me on the cart because he's the typical example. He got on the track and he got scared and he was running off. I haven't been scared on the track very often, and that horse had me scared. I couldn't stop him. I almost ran into a guy. Luckily, I got one lap, got him over here at the gate. He stopped. We came in, took the hobbles off. Went back out. He was a little scared, but he came out of it. And so we left the hobbles burning pretty good. So we left them off. I jogged him probably 2 weeks to get the hobble burns healed up. Then I learned from Steve Elliott, we took the center straps out of the hobbles and just let the 4 loops bounce around his legs so they were on, but not enough. He could run and he would have never known they were there. I did that, I'd say 10 days, and we put the center straps in, but very long. He could run, but he couldn't really hit them very hard. And we did that probably for 4 or 5 days, and every day or two we take him up a hole or two. And you know, we got him settled down. He got pretty good. Then I took over, and once we started actually putting him in training sets, he had an ear hood on, just trying to keep him under control to get him to relax. Once we started training, we had to take that off. He settled right down, but he was pretty wild to start.
I was impressed so much by your patience and horsemanship because he did do some things that were quite scary for observers, as well as your security video shows him taking off and doing different things. How did you keep calm under pressure?
Well, I guess he made me have patience because I don't think it was going to work any other way. But like I tell you, I wasn't very calm there that first day in the hobbles. He was pretty wild.
Well, I can tell you a lot of horsemen said that horse would be ruined in other stables, and you did a fabulous job, and now he's one of your picks. Brian, thank you so much for joining us today, and best of luck for your 2023 season.
Thank you, and I appreciate you guys coming.